People, deluded, I'm back again. Good morning. I hope you're all well and safe. I hope you're all in good spirits. Definitely Arsenal fans, because we've been getting to watch match of the day. We've been winning games in the last few weeks and whatnot. I hope you're all in good spirits. I hope you're all in good spirits this Monday morning. It's another week to try and move forward towards any goals or aspirations we have, and I wish you lot all the best with that. Before we carry on, please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Like I said, I hope you're all doing well and safe. Please make sure you hit the like button. Come on. Hit the like button. It doesn't cost a thing, people. Big up to the 13 people that are in here early days. I've seen the comments going off. I'm big up Claudius as well. I've been seeing you comment on my content early this morning. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the members. We've got a lot to speak about. We've got a lot to get through. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well and safe. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. I'm gonna have to do you guys dirty in the comment section very quickly, because I'm gonna have to obviously get into what we're getting into, people. Big up the Twitch gang as well, live from Planet X. I really appreciate that. Twitch gang, I never want you guys to think you're underappreciated, people. I really appreciate the Twitch gang. If you like to subscribe or watch my content via Twitch, Deluded Gooner 187. I know a lot of you prefer to do it that way. So yeah, big up yourself, and I hope you're all doing well and safe. Like I said, I'm seeing Mr. Adlib, I'm seeing Yoan, I'm seeing Faddy, apologies. I see your comments this morning, my guy, and I'm gonna take you up on that. I appreciate all of you lot. Like Zach's in the building, Olmer's Daya as well. I appreciate all of you lot, man. We've almost 50 people in here. Big up the Jamaicans in the chat as well. I really appreciate you guys. You already know. Please make sure you hit the like button. But yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get into actually what you're here for, people, because I'm well conscious of some of you can't watch the live streams and things. So let's get into it now. You can tell where my head's been this morning, people. Let me make that large for you. Now, the big news is something we've already known allegedly this season. Rob Holding is going to sign a new deal at Arsenal, or more or less has signed a new deal at Arsenal. Whatever you think about him or him as a professional, my own 2 pence is I like Holding. I think he's a decent centre-half. Do I think he's first choice, 38-game calendar centre-half where I can put all my hopes in to get top 4 and things beyond that? Probably not, but I think he can be used in the squad, and I think he's one of those players, whether you like him or not, you have to give him his props, because he got injured when he was in good form. He's come back. He's almost been a forgotten man. He's come back. It looked like he was going to Newcastle. He's got his head down. He's worked hard. He's got to captain the team, showing his rising influence and stature within it. He's 25. He's homegrown. I'm not saying Holding's going to be a household name, but when I look at Rob Holding, Gabriel, by God's grace, Guendouzi, Martinelli, Saka, Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, all of Tierney's 22 and he's a leader in his own right. I'm looking to man at Holding and Tierney, to be the leaders of this group. Whether you're going to be what I feel Tierney should be first choice captain week in, week out, or a squad player like Holding. I want people that represent this club, that understand what it's about. And whatever I think about Holding, I think he's a man of integrity. I've never had to question his professionalism. I can question some of his decision-making on the field. Never had to question his professionalism. I don't think he's someone that's going to throw his toys under the pram, but he looked to want to leave on loan or permanently. He's got his head down. He's working hard. And, we're going to get onto it slightly later, but it's a conundrum now, because who the hell do you play at centre-half? Marie's doing his thing. And like I said, we're going to get into it, but Marie, Holding, Gabriel, David Luiz, we'll get into it, but you're having a tough time picking the first choice defensive partnership right now for this team, and it's right, and rightly so. For me, I'm not fussed about Holding signing a new deal, because first and foremost, he's 25. He's gonna come into his own now and become a better defender. I don't think he's a defender to write home about. I do think he can get into the England squad if he plays and improves and things, because I've seen worse. But I think he's someone that I have as full 5th choice centre half in an ideal world. He's homegrown. We've retained, we've signed him a new deal to retain his resale value and obviously to commit his future. And again, let's be real with ourselves. We know we might bring in a centre half, but you're going to have Mustafi, Socrates, David Luiz all leaving. We need to keep someone. So I don't mind Holding staying as a squad rotation option. Like I said, do I feel right now in my heart Holding is top 4 beyond quality? Probably not. Clearly not. I think you need to have Gabriel and somebody else who's levels. But I think right now Holding's doing his business. He's earned his contract. He's doing what he needs to do, and you know, it is what it is. Whether you like it or not, he signed a new deal. It's that there, and courtesy of the Athletic people, hold, you know, and you've seen Arteta kind of correlate these things. So by the end of this live stream, people, you're probably going to see official confirmation via Arsenal.com. But from what I have come across at this time of making this video, this live stream for you guys, people, Holding has committed his future to the club by signing a new long-term contract. The Athletic can reveal. Shout out to the Athletic, I pay my thing. You know, Rob Holding is better than Cannavaro. Yeah, and all them chants are probably going off. As you lot know, people, he has made 17 appearances so far this season, and he started each of the past 11 games. And I think one thing which kind of showed me that he's risen in stature has been, if you remember the Manchester City game where he actually got injured, he was meant to start there ahead of David Luiz. So I think that kind of sums it, people. Holding is viewed by Arteta and Arsenal's technical director Edu as one of their emerging leaders and an important part of the club's future as they seek to rebuild a squad blending senior professionals with top-class emerging talent. Easier said than done. So yeah, man, Holding's going to sign a new deal. Like I said, in an ideal world, for me, you've got Gabriel, you've got Saliba, you've got a bridge player, bridge centre-half, which, you know, Saliba is 19, Gabriel's 22. We need someone that's 25, 26, sort of lesser, not necessarily a big name, but someone that can sort of help in the medium term. And I think right now I'm seeing that as Mari. So those three are my third choices. If I'm completely honest, I understand why the club is linked with another centre half. So that's probably 4 centre halves, and then you can throw Holding in, and that's your 5. That's your 5. You know, that's your 5 centre half options, people. So yeah, man, you know, big up Holding for signing that. Moving away from Rob Holding though, folks, people, and I'm sure this name puts chills down many Arsenal fans' backs. You know, Runnison. You know, I don't want to lead a crusade against him and get at him and target him and things, but he's not levels, let's be honest. And you know, this kind of goes into mismanagement as a football club. Like, again, Kroenke needs to keep it moving. Kroenke is a disgrace of an owner at this football club, but you know, the money that has been available to be spent, we can focus on the big money signings like the Pepes, the Lacazettes, the Mustafis, the Xhakas, you know, and other mismanagement things like Perez and the rest of it. But it also goes down to the free transfers as well, people. You know, Willian, Mkhitaryan, Cedric, you know, these are expensive free transfers as well. Kolasinac, you know, these are all expensive free transfers. And it also goes down to the players that are bought for sums, which, how would I describe it? Sums of today's football, which it isn't necessarily groundbreaking, like what, 15 or 17 or so for Socrates, you know, one or so million for Runnison. You know, it's not the end of the world, even if it doesn't go right, which it isn't. But for me, when you look at it, it's mismanagement. We'll never know whose decision it was to sign Runnison, you know, because we're hearing coaching staff and all of these sort of things. For me, the club needs to review their practices, because it's never just, Arteta can't just wake up and says, I want that player, and it's just down to him to get it. There's other people that kind of have to sign off and get involved. So at some degree, there's about 4 or 5 men that have watched footage of Runnison and conceded he's good enough, and he's apparently meant to be third choice. You know, like Subi says, the money adds up without a doubt. That's what I'm saying. The money adds up. And also, again, you know, we could go even deeper. It's the loan signings as well. You know, like I said, it's all the big signings are one. It's the free transfers, it's these, but it's also the loans. You know, I'm not, Ceballos has shown patches of brilliance, but have we got money with that money worth? You know, what's his face before that as well? Who's the other guy we got on loan? Denis Suarez. Have we got it? And for me, I look at the signing of Runnison. Now, I'll get onto it, but apparently he's third choice. It was going to be third choice, which makes a lot of sense. But for me, I look at it, when you're linked with that Reina guy at Brentford, you know, it's like what we say about Arsenal in that it's like, are we going for players, or are we going for them because they're available? Because Raya of Brentford wasn't available. Brentford said they don't want to sell him. So you kind of have to push it. You know, I see Runnison as someone who was second choice at his previous club, 1 million, that Dijon are not going to put up a fight. That's why we went for him. And I think sometimes you get what you pay for. And I always think, you know, listen, I don't want any footballer to fail at Arsenal. You know, I don't rate Runnison. Listen, I was telling you, you got on to me because I was telling you from Europa League group stages, this guy looks shaky. I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to develop. Apologies, people. Sorry, people. That's a plane. I thought something was happening with my laptop. You know, I think Runnison, I don't think, listen, I don't want him to get it wrong, but I just think, I just see Runnison as out of his depth. And like you know, to a degree, I have to get Arteta because you said he's not adapted in things and you threw him in at the deep end against Man City and you saw his level. You know, Runnison is he even a championship quality keeper? I don't think he's vocal enough. He doesn't give off a calming assurance that you need to in goal. I think he's always on edge, doesn't look the most vocal, makes bewildering decisions, positioning is quite poor. You know, he's someone we just got to nip it in the bud at 25 years of age. If we're talking about loaning him out to get experience and top level experience or a higher quality loan, then I think we need to nip it in the bud. Yes, being a goalkeeper at 25 years of age is quite young, but you know, we ain't got time for that. We shouldn't be loaning that 25-year-olds if he's not at a level right now. Let's nip it in the bud and go and get his P's, go and get our P's. But for what it said, you know, one player who could leave the Emirates Stadium is goalkeeper Runnison, with Arsenal open to letting the 25-year-old move on loan if they secure a permanent replacement as backup to Leno. So obviously, if we can secure a competent backup, and you got to remember Macy's gone and Runnison's linked, so maybe we are trying for a goalie. Maybe because our priority was Partey and allegedly Aouar, we left that we between putting Saliba on loan and bringing in a keeper. There's a couple areas we didn't address. So again, I can understand bringing a goalie. You know, you'd have Leno undoubtedly as first choice. You'd have whoever this second choice goalkeeper is, assuming he came, and you'd have Arthur Okonkwo or Carl Hein or one of these youth players, you know, making up the bunch and being third choice people. Apparently he was always viewed as more of a third choice goalkeeper, which, you know, makes me even more nervous to why he even started that game. And as good as we've been, you know, Arteta is going to make mistakes and has made mistakes this season, and this is something he needs to learn from. Apparently Arsenal's decision is not a reaction to that display, the 4-1 defeat, but they recognize the need for Runnison to gain experience, which should be possible with a host of teams in the Championship in Europe interested in taking him for the second half of the season. So it's undoubtedly already a transfer failure, because you know, hopefully we can get a loan fee, you know, considering he's brought for a couple of mil. If we can get a similar fee as a loan fee or just below that, we can make some headways. You know, for Runnison, if he can go and play football and get some confidence and somehow come back a better goalie, I don't mind that, people. But and again, 25 years of age, he's still young as a footballer, really, and he's still young as a professional footballer. But I mean, it's not levels. Like for me, it's just I need my goalie to give assurances. I don't think he's calm enough there. He's signed and he's contracted until 2024, and he is happy to be on the bench. But you know, it is what it is. I'm apologies for that, people. I'm trying to gain how many appearances this man's made. So what? Really, he's only played 4. Again, he's played in at this side before. Again, I'm not going to discredit the 62 appearances, but when I look at it, he played 5 times for Arsenal. One game really meant something against Man City, and you kind of failed. He's played 45 times for Dijon. So again, he's not necessarily the most experienced. So it does make sense. You know, he's only played 36 times in a top 5 European league. There is sense to go out and get loans and whatnot. But for me, this is where I have to look at us as a club, because again, me with limited resources talking to you guys, I'm on transfer mark. These guys have Smarter Scout. These guys got We Scout. These guys got all these things. So immediately, you know, for me, again, young keepers, I'm all for it. But for me, if you're going for a number 2, you want someone who's experienced, someone who's competent, someone who undoubtedly, yeah, Leno is better than him, but it's not too much of a drop-off and things like that. So when I'm looking at it, the information, we've seen he's been dropped at Dijon previously. We've seen he's played 36 times. Is this good enough to really be a second-choice goalkeeper, third-choice goalkeeper, even based on what the rumours are saying? I personally don't think so, but that's what they're saying, innit? So that's what they're saying. I can't add nothing into that with people. You know, I hope we bring in a goalie, because I think last season showed what happens if we do not have a competent backup goalie. I think number 2s are very hard to find. Competent number 2s are hard to find, because most good goalkeepers don't want to sit on the bench. We had one with Martinez. He don't want to sit on the bench. And I think it was personally made abundantly clear to Martinez that Leno would be my keeper across mainly all competitions, because you were seeing it even when we started off the Europa League in that regard. So let's see what happens in that regards, people. I would like to bring in a goalie, and again, you're hoping Leno doesn't get injured, and I'm not wishing bad mind on him, but as you've all seen, it's a bit dangerous when your keeper, you know, gets injured. You're put in a problem. We're lucky Martinez stood up to be counted, and you know, Martinez, Maybe he was always this quality, but from what I saw at Arsenal in the small chances he got, Martinez, I'm not gonna lie, he was shaky. Last season he came into his own. He made everyone buy into his way of thinking, and you're seeing the quality he's doing at Aston Villa. So who knows, man? Who knows? But hopefully we bring in a backup goalie. Clearly the priorities for January should be bringing in a backup goalie, undoubtedly bringing in a midfielder if possible, whether that's an 8.5 or a 10, sorting out temporary homes for the Reece Nelsons and players like that if they need to go out on loan, trying to offload a couple of players, whether that's Ozil, who is allegedly going to Fenerbahce, and all of these sort of things. These are the priorities. How much of that can be done in January? I'm not too sure, people. I'm really not too sure. Like I said, for me, if I was Arsenal, the priority undoubtedly is seeing what we can do in the transfer market, specifically into midfield. We've got Saliba out on loan. There's a couple of other young players I think need to go out on loan. Can we trim the squad? Socrates and Mustafi are linked with moves to clubs every day. Mesut Ozil the same. Can we bring in a backup goalie? Only time will tell, people. Only time will tell. We're gonna have to see what happens in that regards, people. But yeah, man, so far so good. Kind of going on to it and kind of correlating with Mikel Arteta. He's given a press conference today, people. I'm not going to read it all out. I'm just trying to find the relevant parts, people. On Smith Rowe, he gassed up Smith Rowe. As you can see, I've been impressed with his performances and the capacity that he's shown to do it in consecutive games, which normally with young players is not something that is very common. So again, it doesn't matter how good you are. You need, to be a good footballer, you need to do it consistently. There's no point having a great game against Chelsea if Smith Rowe went on to be, which didn't happen, but it was iffy against West Brom, or he came off the bench against Newcastle and didn't make an impact. He needs to affect the game each and every time, which he's doing so far. The other day he came into the game when we needed a different energy and threat in the box. He did exactly what we expected, and he scored the goal, which is something that we've been talking to him about. Goals and assists are what's going to make or break him. Again, I don't think you always need to look at goals and assists. Sometimes they don't do people justice, but goals and assists and dictating the tempo of the game is what's going to take the young Smith Rowe to the next level, and he's not going to get there overnight. It's about building blocks. And he said there is no message to any senior players. This is a squad of players with different profiles, and everyone has to be pushing each other and trying to make each other better. Everybody contributes in a different way because every player is different in the squad. That's true. We're going to leave what he's saying about Crystal Palace for tomorrow, which I'll do my own preview for Crystal Palace. He was asked on the importance of moving up the table. Again, I'm going to save that, but undoubtedly you lot know the relevance, people. Martinelli, we're hoping for the best. It's been 48 hours since the mad thing happened. He said we don't know how bad he is. He's getting a scan this morning. We didn't look after the game because he was in a lot of pain, but yesterday he tested a little bit better, so let's hope. So again, we maybe have to wait till tomorrow now for full diagnosis of him. So let's hope for the best. Let's prepare for the worst, which probably means he's out for a significant period of time. We'll know more tomorrow, certainly. So before we play Crystal Palace, we'll probably know where we stand with him. Now, in relation to Gabriel and Partey, where we're going to get into, but some man might even say in this group chat, in this live chat, does Gabriel get into Arsenal's team again? I think he does, but I have to listen and play devil's advocate. With the way some other centre-halves are playing, we've got some problems, and that might be described as a problem, but for me, that's a good problem for Arteta, because Arteta going game in, game out, he should be kept up at night. Who do I play? Oh, I got to play Smith Rowe. I got to go Laka now. I've got to bring in Oba now. Pepe's got to start. Saka's got to go in there. Is it Holding? Is it Louise? Is it this guy? We need problems. We're going to get onto that bit in a second, but it is what it is. I'm not going to read this out, but we all know there's been restrictions over celebrations, and I'm not going to lie, that did go through my mind when we were celebrating our goals against Newcastle. But at the same time, I get it. There is reason to do these sort of, what's it called, people? Like, what's the word? Man? Like segregated celebrations away from everyone. I get it, but in real time, when emotions are high, when we're chasing the game and in extra time like we're going to say F all of that, which we did. On Mesut Ozil's situation, which we did here in the next few days, we will find out where he's going. And, based on, we'll get onto it with Mesut Ozil right now. In fact, on Mesut Ozil, there's rumors that he's going to Fenerbahce. There was rumors that we'll know more over the next few days. It's been the next few days, so I'm not going to go as far as to say there's an imminent announcement, but you'd imagine there's going to be an end to this sort of drama which has been Arsenal and Ozil, which is good for the club. There's no more of this drama. We can move forward. We never have to speak about Ozil again unless we're talking in good ways. For Ozil, he goes somewhere he can play and love, then away from this, because it can't be healthy. Really and truly, it's not healthy for anybody. It's not healthy for our finances. It's not healthy for the fans to keep speaking about this. It's not healthy for Arteta to have to keep mentioning it. It's not healthy for Mesut Ozil. It doesn't help anyone, this contract nonsense, people, and all this stuff going on. But he said, my understanding is that nothing has changed from the last press conference. He's hardly going to tell us until there's developments that kind of transpire into confirmation. He said, Edu and the club are having conversations about the near future and long-term future. And when we know something, we'll announce something. So what does that tell you? I see that as maybe a loan, and then he's probably going to agree a contract with Fenerbahce when it does become that. In the short term, are we going to get a loan fee? Ozil does love to do Twitter fingers. Arteta, I swear you got Twitter, bro. I could be lying, but he said, I'm sorry, I don't use Twitter. I don't follow Twitter. You're gassing, man. If he knows what might be said in that session, of course he's going to say no. He's done it in the past. It's something that he tries to do to engage with his fans and keep everybody informed. So I'm not surprised. One thing I'm not going to miss is Mesut Ozil sort of snide comments on social media. He was then asked on Martinelli's injury. He said it's more about bad luck. It's only 3 injuries and they're really different ones, which I agree. The knee was a madness. He got kicked up in his last game, and he hurt him. He's caught his stud in the ground allegedly. So these are all impact. It's hardly the same niggling knock. Like he said, one was contact and the other one was something that can happen to anybody. So you have to be really unlucky. We're going to scanning today. Hopefully it's not that bad and it doesn't knock Gabby back. Obviously you hope it's not that. But again, if he's out for 6 months or so again, and I'm not saying that, that adds up to a year he spent on the treatment room, and these things add up, and he will get injuries again, like every footballer will. There it is in relation to Rob Holding. He said it's something we will announce as quickly as we can, but it looks like it. When asked about Croydon's Kevin De Bruyne, he said, call him Emil. Let's keep it simple. It's just a start and there's a lot to do. So let's not gas up a man. He's been in the side for 3-4 games. It started well. Let's encourage him. But let's also realize he's a young man with a mountain to climb if he is going to be a consistent Arsenal first team player. That's not just him. That's all of them. He's got to do what Saka's done, really and truly. I'm not going to keep going over Ozil, but he said on how well he thinks Ozil has handled the situation. He said the last 9 months, he said, well, it's always difficult to handle this situation when you are left out of the squad. It's been difficult for everybody to have players who aren't in the squad. It wasn't only him, because you need them motivated, training well, and being part of what we are trying to do. And they don't feel like they can contribute to that. It's always tricky. We have tried to manage that in the best possible way. This kind of, I don't know if this is Mesut Ozil playing smart, people, but what did he say? Turkish coffee with my love. And again, that kind of transpires with going to Fenerbahce. I know he's of Turkish descent, as is his wife. So in theory, it shouldn't look like anything, someone of Turkish descent drinking Turkish tea. But it is, read between the lines. Also, big up the AFC newsroom, Mesut Ozil's brother, he posted this, people. Why would he post that? Again, maybe it's the club of their dreams, a club that they supported as young men and whatnot, or maybe that's in relation to Mesut Ozil making a move, people. I'm not too sure. You're going to have to draw those conclusions for me. Once again, like I said, we're going to leave the Crystal Palace talks to the end. He was asked on the top 6. We'll get into that. We're just focusing on transfers, people. He said we can, in Mesut Ozil's case, he said we can resolve the situation one way or another. It's always good to know what you are going to do, what is going to happen. I knew when we made that decision, the consequences that we could have. We still have to try the right solution for the player and the club, and we're trying to do that. Let's see what we can get. When linked with so we firmly have to see what happens in those regards. We've been linked with Diego Costa and Emi Buendia, in which this drew a smirk actually from Arteta, but he said like this is true. We get linked with players that we haven't discussed, so I'm not going to go name by name. And even if he did want them and he was in discussions, it'd be very stupid to kind of make that obvious. Lucas Torreira has been having a woeful loan spell, to put it nicely, at Atletico for whatever reason, whether it's just a tactical decision, whether he's not a tactical fit, whether Torreira needs to ask himself something now, because I know Emre, he had his best football at Arsenal under Emre, and then Emre tried to make him a creative man. But, Emre, Arteta, Simeone, for whatever reason, it hasn't been consistently great for you. I know he got 90 minutes the other day, but, if I'm being managed by 3 different men, You know, I have to look at what I'm not doing right, because something has to happen. If it's one manager can say, oh, I didn't like me, this, that, and the other, you know, he has to ask himself. And especially that for me, going to a move like this, because of course, you know, his best time was in Italy, but he's going to Spain where his life is probably close. His life in Italy is closer, more aligned to Spain than it was in London. You know, the tactical fit with Simeone as a manager, the South American passion, the comparisons between those two as players as well. Obviously, he's going to a nation that speaks Spanish. You know, you heard rumors he didn't settle, and neither did his family off the field. He's got a number of Uruguayan teammates, and if they're not Uruguayan Spanish speakers, you know, like I said, the system and the way they play, it seemed like it was all a good fit. So Torreira needs to ask himself why it isn't happening for Torreira personally. You know, and he said, well, I've had some conversations with Lucas. He started the loan period really well, but now he's lacking game time. It can happen. The team is doing exceptionally well. They are first in La Liga, and that's it as well. Like I said, sporting decision. If you're not doing the business or other men are doing the business, it is what it is. But also, are you not showing something in training? Are you not taking your chances? And when a chance does come, if it does come, make sure you take it. I know there's been a lot of rumors between Arsenal and Atletico. Atletico weren't happy with what they did with Partey, or there's no permanent option for Torreira. Arsenal think they're driving down his value by not playing him. I don't think that, because if Simeone would be stupid if he sat there and if he genuinely thought Torreira is a good option for him to help him, especially if they're flying away with the league right now as they are. Why would he keep someone out because he thinks, oh, let me drive down Arsenal's price? You know, let me drive down Arsenal's players' price to either get him for the cheap or sell him, let them sell him. It doesn't make sense. You know, if Torreira could help him tomorrow, why would he not play him because he's thinking about next season, and especially, you know, money that's not even his? I don't really buy that. It could be true, but I don't buy that. You know, so like he said, like Arteta said, it's a long season. I know Lucas's character. He's going to try top. You can see it there, people. It says try top keep. I think it means two, but try to keep going and keep pushing, and let's see what will happen. You know, again, you know, it's nice to see the manager is still in contact with Lucas Torreira personally, because that's a good touch, people. You know, I know he's probably not part of it, what Arteta wants to do. I can't rule out that, you know, he's saying go out on loan and come back next season and do your thing here, but I think it's a loan to put him in the shop window. But I like that, man. Arteta still keeping contact, you know, especially because, forgive me, but Torreira does seem a bit soft. So especially when you got these softer players, it's nice to see he's still in contact with him and things like that. So, you know, for Lucas Torreira, you just got to get your head down and fix up, really and truly. You know, you really and truly just got to fix up, get on with it, essentially. On Wilfred Zaha, see what he's having to deal with a lot of links, people. He said, undoubtedly, he's a player who has done exceptionally well in the Premier League. He's created a big name because of what he's been able to do, sometimes on his own with some individual actions. It's what people highlight most of the time. He's a player who plays for Palace at the moment. That's it. You know, he said there's nothing in relation to Ruderson. He spoke about Matt Macy going, and we've spoken about the goalkeeping situation, which we undoubtedly know that Arsenal are probably looking at. When asked, well, yeah, people, he said he's more or less, he hasn't really, you know, I'm not going to read this out, but he hasn't denied it. If he didn't want Ruderson to go out on loan or wasn't open to it, he would say such. He also, I'm not going to go back up, but he also quashed reports of Eddie Nketiah leaving this club. And that's, you know, in relation to players like that, I think Eddie, you know, Arsenal might be open to letting him leave, but at the same time, you can't really disrupt your squad mid-season, and Eddie looks like someone firmly part of Arteta's plan, so I can't see him changing it in that regards. It's like Joe Willock. For me, we should be sending out Joe Willock on loan, but we're already light on midfield bodies. But if Joe Willock goes on loan, we're even lighter. So you get the point, people. You get the point. Again, there isn't too much to say. I just wanted to read that because I felt it correlated directly with what we were speaking about, really, in relation to Mesut Ozil and stuff. Personally, I'm tired of hearing this. I want it to end soon, people. I know I ain't been showing you lot some love. We're going to get onto Pepe in a second, people. Arteta's comments on Pepe, but I ain't been showing the chat some love. Please make sure you're continuing to hit the like button, people. Let me see what you guys are saying, people. Big mistake selling Martinez. I agree, my guy, but if the man wanted to go, he wanted to go, really, you know. Our recruitment, I don't think it's always been poor. I just think I can't really disagree with what you're saying there, my guy. You know, I can't disagree. You said it there. Smash up the like button, people. Smash up the like button, people. Smash up the like button. I'm a Leeds fan and I'm stressed about yesterday. Credit to Crawley, but they did you lot in. Shout out to Sam Greenwood, who made his debut. He calls for another. I'm going to do a video on Sam Greenwood soon, but You know, shout out to him. And already his move's been backed up by leaving Arsenal. He's made his debut for the first team at Leeds. You know, where was he in the pecking order at Arsenal? He sees his future, whether it works or not. Nico has said, have you seen the reports of Napoli preparing a swap bid offering Koulibaly for Tierney in the summer? Apparently, Edu is close to Napoli's owners. Well, I've only seen that they want Tierney outright. I haven't seen anything in relation to a swap deal. And obviously, you could argue we need a centre half, and someone like Koulibaly, you know, his stock might have dropped a little bit, but he's someone a lot of people would be keen to have and things like that. He was close to going to Man City. I wouldn't want it if it means getting rid of Tierney, and I don't think there's any real claims in this. I know Napoli, you know, similar to Gabriel and Pepe, they tried to fight us for Tierney and they lost, so I don't think it's going to work out. They need to get their scouting team or whoever to review backup left back choices and go from there, because letting Tierney go, especially when our club isn't in the right of health right now. We've got a couple of players like Tierney who actually get what it means to play for us. It would be shameful. And Tierney's a key part of Arteta's plan, so I don't think he's going to keep it moving. Nice name, my guy. Courtney Raymond has said, do you think it's worth cashing out on Holding? He's been at the club long enough. We need money to spend in January. It all depends. Is anyone going to buy him for big money in January? And again, there's a lot of question marks over our defense, so I think I wouldn't probably sell Holding until I see clarity over who is our defensive options, what is our defensive options. On paper, we've got 8 centre-halves. I know man are leaving, but we've got 8 centre-halves. And right now, for me, only Gabriel is that long-term option. I like Pablo Mari. We're going to get onto it, but I've only seen him play 9 games for Arsenal. I don't know his true level. David Luiz is hot and cold. We know he's not made for this thing. Holding, good performances, but I'd say he's a squad player at max personally. You know, we'll have to see. You know, big up everybody in the chat. Please make sure you're hitting that like button and things like that, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Where are we going? I saw a comment about it's harsh on, somebody said it's harsh on Runnison, what's happening to him. Football is harsh, bro. I'm trying to really find it. Really trying to find it. Yeah, Courtney has said, we are harsh on Runnison. Remember before Martinez had his shaky moments a couple of years ago. To be fair, Martinez was a way better keeper than him. And Martinez, I agree, I said that earlier, he was shaky, but he also had good games in an Arsenal shirt in the Europa League and before that. And he wasn't this bad, I can't lie. You know, listen, we all want Runnison to turn out into a better keeper. It would help us. It means the club could save some money, not have to affect and buy. But, you know, sometimes it's a spade's a spade. And football is a harsh game. Football's been harsh on Arsenal fans, my guy. Football's a harsh game. Runnison had his chance. He didn't take it, you know. And yeah, you could say he should get another chance, but football is harsh, you know. Be prepared. I do think the club, from what I saw at City, I'm not even that angry at Runnison. He looks like a man that's not levels and out of its depth and has no confidence. I have to look at the club, because I look at Runnison, I don't think he's got the personality of a keeper that we're looking for. He looks a bit, forgive me, once again, like I said with Torreira, soft. So football is harsh, you know. The world is harsh. Like, Arsenal fans know how harsh it is, you know. It was an atrocious performance, so we have to call a spade, you know. We can't do this cotton wool stuff, you know. If a man was dead, he was dead. Simple as that, really. And the hardest thing to do is find a backup goalie, someone that genuinely wants to sit on the bench or isn't going to kick up a fuss, that is actually a good keeper. It's difficult, people. And I know a lot of men in the comments are throwing a lot of names out there. So, yeah. Any news on Alwa? You tell me, my guy. I ain't seen nothing, my guy. Really. Big up my guy A for the super chat. I appreciate that. What have you said? Torreira has a difficult job breaking into athletics midfield of Sal, Koke, Lorente, and Kondogbia. Saul is not a starter. Imagine that. And he's not been doing the job for them when he's had a chance this season. So again, man have to sit on the bench. You know, man have to. It is how it is. That's how it is, people. Really is how it is. You know, I'm seeing a lot of names. Man are saying we should move for Heaton. Not really convinced on that personally, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is in that regards, man. I'm not even vexed that a man's crying, bro. I don't care that he's crying. I just see, for me, it goes back to the personality of the players. When I look at Runnison, you know, his personality doesn't look like he's there. You know, when I look at Guendouzi, again, we heard he had behavior problems, and I don't care about that. I think Guendouzi should be here, but we heard he had behavior problems. Lo and behold, what's almost been Guendouzi's demise here. Hopefully he comes back, but what's almost been his demise has been those behavioural problems and not saying sorry. And it was that Brighton result allegedly wasn't the first incident. Then obviously you've got Torreira, where he's not settling. He's had problems like this in the past. So again, are we doing our due diligence just not on the player's ability, but on their mentality? So it's nothing to do with Torreira crying. It's just you're moving soft. Torreira is too small, to be honest. Not sure I agree with that. I just think he's soft at this moment in time, really and truly. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Really is what it is in that regards, man. So yeah, man. Big up the comments. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. I'm liking the comments you guys are coming with. I'm seeing interesting takes and things like that. Like even with the number 2 goalies, seeing bare different names thrown up there. Would you swap Tierney for Upamecano? No, at all. This is what this is what I'm talking about. It's like this is what annoys me about fans. You're called haters, or you're called haters, or you're called negative just for calling a spade a spade. Like for me, I support anyone that plays for Arsenal Football Club. I might think some players are punching to even be employed by Arsenal, but from the minute they step into the field, I want them to play well. Every player plays well. It makes it harder for Arteta to pick an 11. If we have better players, if everybody's playing well, it should mean we trickle up the table. Like, Xhaka isn't exactly my cup of tea. I don't think he's a bad player or as bad as people make out, but he isn't my cup of tea. Equally, I want him to do well, and I give him his, I'll talk about Xhaka when he plays poor, like against Spurs. Since our turnaround where we've been in form, like against Chelsea, like he come off the bench and he offered something, you have to call a spade a spade. I think Willian is crap. But if Willian plays well next game, I'm going to give him his support. I'm going to give him his props. When I see Laka and Aubameyang playing well, I'm going to give them their props. If they're not doing their jobs, they're going to have to hear it. It's a game-by-game basis, I forgive you for what you've done last game, and I'll give you your props and allow you to right your wrongs of the new game, people. So like Lemon is saying, it's not being non-supportive. If a player is playing bad, call it out. There's always energy for some players and not for the others. It's crazy, people. Courtney, I'm not too sure I agree with that, because if you just type in Joe Willock's name, the whole world is getting at Joe Willock, and clearly, you're gonna have laterally, Runnison is playing less. Runnison is playing less than Joe Willock. So man are gonna talk about Joe Willock more. Joe Willock, at my last live stream, he's played 77 times now, 76 at the time. So again, I'm not saying you do it, but comments like this I always have a problem with, because it's almost like, okay, cool, you're question marking this guy, so you must go and blast this. Why can't two truths be true? Runnison and Willock don't correlate, so I don't know how their names are together. But why can't two truths live in the same realm, in the sense of Runnison's not doing his job, Joe Willock's been afforded chance after chance and not done his job? Two things can be true, man. It is what it is. So make of that what you will. Somebody said I've missed a super chat. No, I haven't. I've spoken about it, unless somebody else has sent me another one. Clean your ears, fella. No, I'm playing. So yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards, man. Big up yourselves. You're gonna have to tune in tomorrow, my guy. You're gonna have to tune in tomorrow, man. You're gonna have to tune in tomorrow for all of that. We'll talk about Palace tomorrow. And it is, people are not watching because Saul is kind of struggling at Atletico at this moment in time. I saw Wayne try and get at someone for saying that. You need to look at what you're looking at, man. No, it's nothing to do with being biased. We call a spade, man. We call a spade. We have to call a spade a spade. If you're playing well, you're playing well. If you're playing bad, you're playing bad. Obviously, let's be real, if Tierney has a bad game, we're going to ask him that. But, he's got credit in the bank. We've seen some good games. If Willian has a bad game, rightly so, we should still talk about him. But he's been in woeful form. So that's, treat everybody equally. But being treated fairly in football is a myth by managers and elsewhere, people. So it is what it is in that regards. And that brings me back to the next topic we should be moving on and speaking about, people. First, before we get into Pepe, we're going to speak about Willian. First things first, people. Moving forward, these are copied and paste quotes based off. This was obviously actually in the aftermath after the cup game, he on Willian, he said, I think he was improving and improving. Now, before I actually carry on, people, I think a lot of this is clearly Arteta is Willian's guy. Willian's your guy. You play him consistently for whatever reason, and he doesn't deserve it. So I think he's trying to save him a bit. And I'm not going to lie, Willian does, as poor as Willian is playing, he looks shot on confidence. That's a negative cocktail. When you have a player that isn't good and a man that's not confident, it's scary, people. It's something that is going to harm you. And I think that's it. For me personally, Arteta's going to have to drop Willian. You've got Saka on the left. Martinelli's injury might tip things, and that probably means Saka moving back over to the left-hand side, and you're going to see Willian back in. But I think you've got to drop him. You've got to pick your best players, and guys like Willian are costing you. They're costing you points. Again, he's still only had 2 shots on target since he signed for this club. I'm sure you saw his effort where he fumbled over the bar. You played him on the right. You've played him centrally last game, and he's not grabbed his chances. He's not. And again, someone like Reece Nelson, I think Nelson needs to go out on loan and hasn't grabbed the minimum chances he's had. But between Nelson, Pepe, Saka even and whatnot, Smith Rowe before, maybe any other young players on the cusp of things, how much time has Willian wasted? How much of these appearances and minutes that Willian has played, how much of it could have been redistributed elsewhere? Like, again, I'm going off topic, people, but I'm not saying everyone else would be playing better, but what could other players do with those opportunities? Where would we be? Again, it's not a William hate campaign, but it's pretty scary. He's signed for 3 years. He's playing week in, week out. He's 32, so he's naturally going to start declining, and his numbers are extremely mediocre, to put it nicely, people. He's not the most prolific on the best of days. He's yet to score in 18 appearances. He's got 3 assists for Arsenal. 1 was against Wolves and 2 was against Fulham. So again, he's only really got 1 assist since the first game of the season. He's played 13 times in the league and done F all with it, people. And he's played solid minutes. He's been allowed to get match rhythm and stuff. He's playing solid minutes. And I think the fact that he's barely even completed, despite playing full minutes, the fact that he's being subbed early means patience must be wearing thin with Willian. To be fair, I think he was decent against Man United, as the whole team was, but patience is wearing thin. He got clipped against Wolves, 65 minutes against 45 against Leeds, clipped against Wolves, somehow played 90 against Spurs, 82 against Burnley, but surely patience is wearing thin. Fair enough, he's been injured, but you can't afford to keep carrying players, especially when they're not young. They're 32. They've been around the block. There should be nobody within that football team right now at Arsenal that understands what we need, the task at hand, more than Willian, because he's been in these environments. Dare I say, he's been in more pressurized environments like Chelsea, where there's more of a need to get results and things. So I can't accept a lot of this from Willian. But for what it is, I think he was improving and improving. The other day he came on really well against West Brom. He's been out as well because he was ill, which is true. And that is true. He has lost some rhythm because he's been out and not really been training and playing and things, as has been said. He said today was the first time that he started the game. He had some good moments. He had some other moments that he needed more help sometimes. And I do think I would like to see you be this nice to other players, really, Arteta. I wouldn't, he was just call a spade a spade. He didn't have good moments. He did not. He didn't. And some decisions weren't the best. Again, he's trying to save face. Now I'm getting the real Arteta. But we're going to keep trying with him. He shows in training how much he wants it. He had some highlights in the game, and it's about keeping the confidence in him. We know the player he is. If you believe in him, you believe in him. And, I would have concerns if Arteta gave up fully on him. Drop him, give up on him, but don't kill his confidence. Still kind of keep him going, sort of thing. And I hear what you're saying about training, but you said a man ain't been training for 2 weeks. So how's he shown how much he wanted it? So why is he starting? The fact that he started and the fact that he came off the bench the minute he's fit again of sorts against West Brom tells you how he's a favoured player. If he was just a squad player, there'd be less scrutiny. So I don't agree with that. And I hear what you're saying about training, but to a degree, it's about what you're doing on the match day. There's some man who train poor and play well. Some man play well and train amazingly, which is Willian. I hear what you're saying about training, how much he wants it, but I genuinely can't see, based on you reviewing your footage, based on training, that he's a genuine option ahead of some other people. Because at this moment in time, I'd rather shoehorn Eddie and get your right wing than Willian, really and truly. And that's even an appalling option. You get the point. Obviously, Willian's confidence is down. Now, I do think better performances will help Willian. and get his confidence. I do think the manager can do a bit to get his confidence, but fundamentally, the only person that can pull his confidence back is him. And if his confidence is shot, like you said with Lacazette, take it man out the team, you know. And he said, I think when the team is winning, it's easier because there's more time to do that process. He needs to build the relationship with some players. Today, he played in a slightly different position as well. We'll get there. I hope we do get there with Willian, but I can't see it. I can't see. At worst, I knew Willian was going to frustrate me. I just thought we'd see a bit more than this. I didn't think it would be that bad, people, personally. Now, that's on Willian. Arteta's also spoken about Pepe, and I think the writing's on the wall for Pepe personally. I want Pepe. I like Pepe. I don't think he's a bad player. Is he frustrating? Yes. Is his IQ a bit behind? Yes. You know, is he frustrating? Yes. But I do think, you know, there's a player in there, but I just think we're going to cut our losses. Is this club going to take, I don't think you're getting 30-40 million for Pepe. You know, I think you'll be lucky to get 20. Do I see this club taking a 50 million pound hit, assuming they got 20 million for Pepe, and then they'd have to bring in another winger or a forward and address all the other areas like in goal, centre half, midfield, that we've been linked with, maybe even right back because nobody's nailed that down, a backup left back perhaps, and also with moving players on. Do I see them taking this hit, especially if we probably will not get Champions League football, you know? Do I see them taking this hit? No. So we might have to just persist with Pepe on one hand. We have to just keep trying until it goes somewhere. I'd rather hear the language about we'll get there and all of these things about Pepe versus Willian. You know, one's 25, one's 32. It's about the willingness to learn that's going to separate Pepe. And I've said it before, he's got to use Bukayo Saka as a positive example, and he's defended him before, but you know, apparently Mikel Arteta is eager to help Nicolas Pepe succeed at Arsenal after a rocky start. You know, 8 goals during his debut campaign. And let's be real, his numbers were decent if you look at all comps and whatnot. Again, I'm saving face a bit, but what has he said here? He said we need to help him to succeed. In order to do that, he needs minutes, he needs consistency in the team, and when he has that, he needs to show what he's capable of. And I get that sometimes you need match rhythm. As much as I'm getting at Willian for his last result performance, you know, he's been out for 2 weeks. You know, Reece Nelson didn't take his chances in the last game, but I think, you know, considering he ain't played since Rapid Vienna, it's difficult. Pepe, you know, you threw a man in versus City one time and he didn't have any, you know, it's down to him to perform and take his chances, but at the same time, you're not using a man, you're not letting him build up his rhythm and confidence, and then you're throwing him in. Some players are like that. They need a run of games. Some man don't, and they'll take their chances. It's all different, and it's about recognizing that. You know, based on the way we've been playing, Pepe hasn't got in the team. We've been playing well, you know, and things like that. And it is true, he does need minutes, he needs to show consistency, but that's down to Arteta to give him the platform to do that. And then it's down to Pepe to grab his opportunities and like Smith Rowe and Saka show a reason as to why Arteta should throw a hat on you. When you play like how you did against Newcastle, I think that's the sort of performance, because you tried to force things. Yeah, the shooting was poor, sometimes the decision making weren't quite there, but you know, he wasn't just resigned to just whatever's happening. I saw a proactive one versus a passive one. He looked more demanding on his teammates and stuff. And maybe whether that's because he's, you know, the pressure is off because it's the FA Cup, whether that's because, you know, Arteta's giving him confidence, whether he's got the hump because he's not playing, whether he wants to prove people wrong, we don't know. But he's done it. So I don't think he's played his way into the Crystal Palace plans, because like I said, Bukayo Saka is there. The only thing that could see that change is if obviously Martinelli's injury probably means you could shift Aubameyang back to the left-hand side and then bring in Lacazette. I don't think Lacazette can be on the bench until he drops his form. Right now, he's the man right now. So there's something that you could do in that. Or, you know, you could say, do you know what, I'm keeping Aubameyang through the middle. Saka's going to go to the left and Pepe's on the right. For me, if there is a change up, once again, it's Aubameyang to the left-hand side. It's Lacazette through the middle. Smith Rowe has to start, and Saka's obviously done what he's needed to do. Until there's a drop-off in form, none of these players deserve to lose their spots, in the same way Mari as well, in my personal opinion. The only thing that goes against Mari is obviously the 2 left-footed centre-halves, and I keep indirectly speaking about it. I promise you we're going to get onto that, people. And obviously he went on to say, Arteta went on to say, I think it's hard to make a judgment on some players that haven't played many minutes over the last 2 or 3 weeks and to throw them in and expect them to be the best on the pitch. I don't think it happens. And Nico tried. He tried all game and had some really good moments where he could have scored 2 or 3 goals, which I'd agree with. Not too sure. Ian Wright was very critical of Pepe's performance and the young players. I don't really feel Pepe played amazing, but I didn't really feel he warranted that, Uncle Ian, but is what it is. He also went on to say, in normal circumstances and with his ability in those positions, he puts the ball in the back of the net. He didn't do it, but I think his contribution was good. So he needs to show a bit more, people. Ian Wright went on to say, very, very poor from Pepe today. Same with Willian. These are players we needed a lot from, and we are just not getting it, to be honest. Like I said, I don't think Pepe played amazing, a 5/6 out of 10, but I think very, very poor is harsh. I've defo seen Pepe play a lot poorly, and I defo feel, again, he's a relatively new signing, so it's not really relevant. But you had Cedric there, who was also poor, and you haven't said anything about him. In relation to Willian, can't disagree. Willian was anonymous, so bit harsh from Uncle Ian, but he's entitled to his opinion regardless. Big up Ian Wright, man. Big up Ian. One day we'll do a collaboration thing. Hopefully, one day. 49 minutes. This was Pepe. Again, I'm just making notes so I can clip it up for you guys, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. So what? We've spoken about Rob Holding. We've spoken about, Holding. We've spoken about that. Let me make sure I delete things so I can actually... In fact, let me not delete because I might need these as notes, as reference points. But before we get into that, people, centre half now. Before I get into that, big up Pablo Mari. Again, I think fans are taking it I think fans are going overboard with praise for him. And what I mean by that is not... Defo keep talking about his performance. He's playing well. He's doing well. I mean, in that it just feels like, when players are doing badly or players are doing goodly, we draw conclusions. I don't think you can draw conclusions over Mari. I like what I'm seeing. I've seen a man that's had injuries, had to be patient, and I'm seeing a man at 27. I'm seeing a man that ain't got time to waste. He's playing well. He's performing well. He's being consistent. Yeah, he had the penalty against Chelsea, and he had some nervy moments in these games, but generally we've seen the quality. He reads the game well. He's got that calmness about him. He's got a decent pass on him. The only area of concern for me with Mari is the lack of pace that might get him in problems. But truthfully, we don't know his true level. He's played 9 games for Arsenal, 3 or 4 in the league, and really the last 4 games, I'm not belittling him, it's down to him, but we've been in form as a team. We need to keep going and seeing where his true level. We need to see where we are in May. I like Mari. I think, like I said, I wanted the 3 new centre-halves to be central this season. I wanted Mari to get a look in, Gabriel and obviously Saliba. They're new centre-halves. They haven't been really involved in the F3 that some of the repeat offenders have at this club. So yeah, man, I think he's fully deserved. I just think fans need to calm down with, proclaiming this as him as the next guy or him as a forever fixture in the same way. Not just him, a lot of players, Smith Rowe as well. These players we need to allow time, people. Well, mainly Smith Rowe because he's young, but Mari, we don't know. And what I want to say is, when he has that bad game, are you going to keep this energy? For what I've seen is so far so good, but me personally, the jury's still out. That doesn't mean I'm skeptical on him. That doesn't mean I think he's not a good player. It just means I don't know your true level. I'm only really watching him at Arsenal. I watched him against Liverpool when he was at Flamengo. Obviously, when he was linked with us, I watched a couple games and did what I could. But I don't know Donny's true level. But so what I'm seeing is so far so good. I like what I'm seeing. I think he can be a competent option. But I do think fans are going over the top. But like I said, people, he's doing well. It's fully deserved. He fully deserves his praise. And for me personally, with Mari, it's now good problems. Statistically, he's doing well. He reads the game well. The lack of pace concerns me. But if you read the game well, you can get away with that. The only issue is we play a high line. And for me personally, it's good problems now, because to play that, for me, Gabriel walks back in. Gabriel is in the centre. I do think it's probably Gabriel and Holding in Arteta's thinking. But is it Gabriel and Holding? Should it, is it Holding and Gabriel? Is it Gabriel and Holding? Is it Holding and Louise? Is it Louise and Mari? Do we go with a pivot? A centre half duo we haven't seen in Gabriel and Mari, where many people will say they're 2 left footers. You can't do that, and I hear it. But I've just said Holding. And David Luiz. So they're 2 right footers. One's got to play on the left hand side. Or if Saliba was here and there was many different combinations, one would have to. So it don't really make much sense. But for me, it's good problems, Gabriel and Luiz, it might be a good one, 2 left-footed defenders. It might be. Personally, I wouldn't try that yet against Palace, because we're in form, we're doing all right. I don't think we really need to reinvent the wheel. I'd like to see Gabriel come back in, or I would like to see a partnership that we've seen already. I don't really want to see experiments. So the Gabriel and Mari one, for me at this moment in time, I really wouldn't want to see it. Not because I think it's bad. It's just we've got a little bit of form. And I think when you're in form, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You need to sometimes keep things basic. And that's it. You know, we're playing people in their right positions. We're playing a consistent lineup. This is what I want to see, sort of thing. So I think with Mari, there's good problems. You know, you can't not get at Mari. You know, Mari is a quality. He's showing that he's moving like a quality centre half, people, and he deserves all the praise he gets, people. Like I said, people, you know, he deserves that. He's an unsung hero. Where's all them? There's some statistics that I saw last time I googled him, people. Away from all of that, the Telegraph is gonna. You have to pay for the Telegraph, I think. So we're not gonna click on that. But let's see what this says. The unsung hero. Big up Mari. I like what I've seen from Pablo Mari so far, people. You know, and we had to throw him in because we had some injury. Oh, where's that gone? Apologies, people. We had to throw him in because we had some injury suspensions, and probably it wasn't even fair to him because he has missed a lot of football in the last year. And that's why I salute Miriam even more. You know, we'll never know where he truly is in the pecking order, because as you could see, you know, if it wasn't injury, suspensions, COVID, and the rest of it, would Mari have got a look in? I don't know, people, but I respect him because he's had injuries, he's barely played, he's had to be patient. We spoke earlier about, you know, the need for players to get rhythm, and Arteta's spoken about it. He's been thrown in at the deep end, and this is why he signed for the club. And it's like what I'm seeing. I just hope that nobody, like I said, if he has a good game, anyone that has a good game, we praise them. If they have a bad game, we ask what went wrong. But I just hope all of this, like I said, I just feel football fans are too excited with, you know, one day someone's a messiah and then there's a witch hunt. You know, when he had, not that I ever want him to have a bad game, but when he has a shaky game, is the same energy going to be said to people? Because man are saying already he's better than Gabriel. I like the comments. That's what we should be saying, you know, where, you know, we speak to 4 Arsenal fans, they'll probably say 4 different centre-half combinations. So imagine what Arteta is thinking through his head, people. I respect him. What I like about him as well is I've always said it, I like that he doesn't do things above his pay grade. We've had too many centre-halves that think they're Beckenbauer and Ronald Koeman. He'll try his little pass that he's good at, but he's not trying to do things he's not built for. You know, he's very vocal. I don't know if that's something that's happened lately or that's how he's always been, but he's very vocal. He reads the game well. He's a competent option. You know, that's all I want. Competence, consistency, and competence. You know, if I throw you in for 3 games or whatever, whether you're a squad player or a regular, can you do a job? You know, and are you competent? If you're a centre half, can you actually defend? That's all I want from Donny. And he's doing that. And like he said, I think he deserves all this praise. He said he's a leader. He's someone who trains really hard. He is really professional. He is really professional. He's a great communicator on the pitch, and he gives some security and some stability. And he does have, that's the one thing I think he has over Gabriel. I do think Gabriel can be described as a bit rash and a bit reckless at times. We know he's a bit raw. Like for me, Gabriel's the first choice, but that's the one thing I think Mari has. He's a bit more of a calming influence. Obviously, he's more seasoned in that regards. That's the one thing I think he has. But like I said, good problems, you know, holding, again, we never know. I think, you know, we've got to be careful because the holding for me falls into the category of Pepe and Lacazette and David Luiz and who else? Even Mustafi at a period. What I describe as hot and cold. It's like we have numerous players in this squad that go through good moments, you know, like you're seeing. There's only, if it's not Tierney, Martinelli, Saka, Partey, to a degree, Gabriel and Aubameyang, based off the last thing, they're the only ones I can really say over a 38-game period, you're going to show me a base level. Other players are going to dip, stay there for a while. Other players are going to go high and stay there for a while, like you're seeing currently with Lacazette. Lacazette's already gone through good and bad moments. Do you get it? So I think Holding is one of those. So we'll never know. You know, I think in Holding's case in centre-half, we can't get too gassed off current form. Mari, only time will tell his true level. You know, Holding, I mean, David Luiz is a hot and cold player. Gabriel is still raw. But at the moment, there's good problems, as I said, you know, and he's also said he done really well with Rob Holding. He was really good again on Saturday with David Luiz, 3 clean sheets in a row, and he fully deserves his chance to play. And that's a fact. He deserves that, you know. And with Mari in the side, Arsenal have conceded just 1 goal in their last 4 games, people. Now, we have to, you know, let's be real. We played a Brighton and West Brom side that were toothless and not in form, sort of thing. But you can only play what's in front of you. You know, that's not just down to Pablo Mari. You've got to praise the whole squad. In the same way, when someone makes one mistake that we focus on and say it costs us the game, it's never just that. You know, it's a 90-minute game with 11 men. So it's a good look. To be fair, it's a good look. And obviously, I forget Mari. The only bad thing I say with you is that penalty against Chelsea, our Bacon got saved. But apart from that, he's been quality, people, you know. And apparently, Arteta wanted a left-footed centre half. He's got that. And for me, now there is genuine problems. Is it Marie or Holding? Marie and Holding, sorry. Is it David Luiz and Marie? Is it David Luiz and Rob Holding? Is it Gabriel and Louise? Is it Gabriel and Holding? Do we experiment with Gabriel being our best centre half, Marie being our best informed centre half? Do we experiment and say, you know what, you're both left-footed. Why have you got to be competition? Why can't you be boys? Like, why has it got to be either or? Why can't one of you be thrown in? Like, once again, many people look at that on a weird thing and say it's two left footers, but there's many right footed partnerships we've seen. I don't want to go back to a back three, but if we have to go back to a back three, I'm not saying this is the first choice. It's probably going to be David Luiz, Gabriel, and Rob Holding. But could you go with Marie, Gabriel, and David Luiz? The man in the picture right here, Tierney, Tierney, Marie, Gabriel. There's many different options we can now flirt with and things like that. So who knows, people? On one hand, I don't know. I wouldn't play Gabriel there or Marie. But with Kolasinac going and with Tierney and Saka as our only left wing options, Tierney the only out and out one has to wonder what happens there. You've got Maitland-Niles, you've got Cedric. Could you get away with throwing one of them there now? I wouldn't throw Gabriel or Marie there. If I've talked about my only concern over Marie being his lack of pace, it wouldn't make sense to put him wing back. But you get the point, people. For me, I'm just happy there's problems. The more problems, the better for Arsenal. Arteta should have a tough time thinking of his lineup, people, thinking of who is he gonna go in, who is he gonna play, who is he genuinely going to line up with, people. And that's all I want, really. That's all I want at the end of the day, people. Sorry, people, just Marie. So yeah, man, that's it in case of Marie. But big up Marie, people. As you lot know, people, we've also got to go on. There are some weaknesses, and this article's done well. There are weaknesses to his game. He can be dragged out of position. He does find it a bit difficult 1v1 when he's having to, when there's holes in the game and stuff. But every player's got weaknesses. It's about Arsenal mitigating against that. If Mark Marie's a good player, but he struggles with pace, can we push our back line back a bit? Can we make sure we've got a fast midfielder who, Marie can, on the counter, Marie engages first, and then we've got people back. So we'd have to see. But fundamentally, like I said, good problems. All I want is good problems at this team. Good problems. The more good problems we have, the better. It's too easy to pick the lineup. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. 490 of you locked in. I really appreciate that. I've got another super chat. Forgive me, people. Let me read it out. It's not allowing me to scroll up, but I can see it on another platform. Ollie has said, Holding is done now. Anyways, good afternoon, bro. Big up yourself. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to not just you, but all of you, depending on your time zones. Fair play. You're allowed to think that about Holding, but, end of the day, he's signing a new deal. So it all throws it on its head, man. And it's a crazy one. You've got man saying, I think you mean Marie. I think Marie, Saliba, Gabriel, and Holding should be better than David Luiz. Okay. It's fair play. The best centre-half duo. Big up you lot, people. I see Marie as a squad, Holding not good enough. I welcome all the opinions. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Bro, we did Socrates dirty. Never really had a bad game for you. I don't agree with that. Socrates definitely had some poor games. I'm not sure with that one. That's a bit of sensationalism, a bit of recency bias and things like that. Let's Wayne Dash, let's avoid talking about Holding's hairline and people's appearance. We're not the platform for that. And to be fair, even with his hairline, I'd rather have the hairline that with that than and have the money. And to be fair with you, you could probably flash it at your gal and take her. So we have to calm it down, man. Let's not draw him out, man. Let's leave all that. Let's leave all the appearance things alone. I don't know how long his deal is, but I'd assume it's a 4 or 5 year deal. He's 25. For me, you make him sign a 5-year deal. By the time he's 30, you could probably move him on, And even if Saliba does have a fantastic loan, which he was man of the match in his last game, he's still not going to be the finished article. What we need Saliba to come back with is just feeling a bit more confident, a bit better in himself, a bit more experience, and then having a go. He's still going to make mistakes. He's 19. He'll probably be about 20 when he returns. That's a long way. That's a lot of lessons for him to learn. He's not going to be levels like that yet. So we're going to see, man. We're going to have to see. So, yeah, for me, all I care about is good problems. We've spoken about Pepe and Willian. I wanted to speak about it being make or break for Hayland. And what I mean by that is, if you're not the finished article, it doesn't mean that. But when I look at it, January is difficult for us. January is difficult. For Joe Willock, in Joe Willock's case, I do think for him, he should go out on loan. He really should. He should go out on loan. He should go and get 20 games or something. He needs 20, 30 games. And not just that, he needs to play consistently. He needs to play consistently. I've said that 3 times, so I hope it stays with you lot. Because, again, he earned his spot a few games ago. Remember, he was doing his thing in the Europa, and then he came into it off the back of the Europa. He started against Leeds, and like everyone, he had a poor game. So I do think there's a lot of lessons for him to learn. But I think people underestimate playing on a regular basis. I think people underestimate trying to play week in, week out. Because even if Joe Willock has a blinder of a game, arguably you could say he's not going to start the next game because Xhaka is, or you've got Ceballos, you've got El Nene. Partey is the best midfielder we've got in this team, so he needs to play. Obviously, Joe Willock, Smith Rowe, it shouldn't be bad news because I've always said Joe Willock's role is that pivot behind the 10. He's not a 10, but it's bad news for him because he's not even getting that little role anymore. You've got Smith Rowe. He still might get a look in there, but it's a Smith Rowe thing. And for me, as much as I like Joe Willock, he's a Hayland boy. I think there is a player in him to be a squad player of some stature, but he's at that moment for me now where I think you can go off and be a decent player for us. But I think you're one of them that could be sold. Like, for me, he's nothing like Coquelin. But I think right now he's in danger of the Coquelin territory. And what I mean by that is when you look at Joe Willock right now, he's all gear, no idea currently. And what I mean by that is, pressing, working hard, getting stuck in. He does all of that. Critics will say that's a given for any footballer, let alone a central midfielder. But he gets stuck in. For me, it's about games like where you saw Newcastle when there's 5 at the back, when we need to see a bit more quality on the ball. The first touch isn't there. The decision-making isn't there. The passes isn't there. He needs to be refined. And I think he's of that, he's of that stature now where he needs to go out and play consistently. And he'll do his thing. It's a bit like Coquelin where there was a little short-term fix. Coquelin had a bit of form. We found a little bit of a role, but sooner or later it's going to snap. And I think Joe Willock needs to go out on loan. I think why I personally wouldn't loan him out now because we're light in midfield. If Joe, again, these players are hardly worldies, but if Joe, we're already light with Joe in midfield. So imagine Joe Willock's gone out on loan now. Who have we got? We're not going to recall Guendouzi or Torreira, allegedly, maybe, but allegedly. So what? You've got El Nene, you've got Ceballos, you've got Partey, and you've got Xhaka, which on one hand, you've got 4 men. But we've seen Partey have injuries, we've also got to consider injuries again and suspensions and all of these sort of things. So if I was him, I'd force the issue because I don't think you're going to get the game time and you're showing you, again, you don't need to be levels yet. But what I need to see with Joe Willock is building blocks. And I think this is Saturday was his 77th appearance for this football club. And I still don't know what you are. So, pardon me, you still need to do that. And like I said, having an engine is great, but it won't make you have a long-term career here. When given time on the ball, he's not moving it well enough. He's very raw. I do think he plays blinkered. Off the ball, he's very blinkered as well. He doesn't follow runners good enough. Like I said, I like Joe. He gets in the trenches. He's down for the cause. He doesn't hide, but man need to see a bit more. For me, if Willian wasn't here, Reece Nelson would get a lot of game time, but Nelson needs to go out on loan. He needs that loan similar to Joe to polish up, He hasn't played since against Rapid Vienna, so to be thrown in at the deep end it is a tough ask. But I just feel the decision making, he puts himself around, he gets stuck in. But I just feel, the first touch. Remember in the game against Newcastle, he's made a good run. Tierney's played him a good first touch, as you lot know, or you should know. First touch is central to any footballer because a first touch sets up what you can do and it makes your life harder or easier. And then the pass you give to your teammate. I was told by my coach, when you pass to someone, you're telling them what they want to do, what you want them to do. You're setting the picture already for them. And that's what's for Joe in midfield to take heat, and obviously Nelson, there was one chance it came over the top for him. He's tried to go with his stronger foot on his right hand side, and it's trickled out where really he should let it come across him, use his left foot and continue from there. He didn't do that. And then obviously the chance I just said with Tierney, like I said, he's lacking rhythm. But are you going to get a chance to build rhythm here? Like I said, I would keep him and he'd play, but with Willian and things like that, go out and get 20 games or so, man. I think Nelson could be a decent squad player for us. But like I said, them and they need to go, and I will keep him. But again, he arguably it's probably easier to loan out Reece Nelson than Joe Willock. I think Joe needs it more because I'm a bit biased and I would give Nelson game time personally, but I look at it, Joe, there's hardly any midfield bodies here. Nelson, you've got Willian, who's going to play every day of the week ahead of you until something pushes Arteta not to do that. Pepe's barely playing, but he's ahead of you. Saka, that's his spot to lose. Martinelli comes on the left and complicates things. So again, might need to go. And for me, Maitland-Niles as well. Like for me, again, another one you've got to keep for bodies, but you forced the man to stay here. He made his debut, and it's a Euros year. Is he going to the Euros based on right now? I wouldn't sell. Because like Joe Willock, he's a body right now in terms of depth, whether that's right back or we'll always talk about Maitland-Niles in midfield. But I'd wonder how Maitland-Niles is feeling. You didn't get to play because of Cedric. You're not getting a look in at left back as well, where you've played. You're not getting a look in, and the managers begged you to stay. There was talk of signing a new deal, and it ain't worked out. So no, Maitland-Niles is a bit different in that I would look to move on personally, but I just think, and I haven't included Eddie and Nketiah. I think Eddie could go get games. And even then, I think I would loan out Eddie, but I understand if Eddie doesn't go, Arteta's quashed that. I understand if he doesn't go, because if something happens to Lacazette, you're in issues. I know there's Balogun, you could utilize him. I don't know with Balogun's contract, if we're going to give him more first team opportunities. Arteta says he has. Personally, if it's become abundantly clear he wants to keep it moving, let's forget them man there personally, but it is what it is, people. It really is what it is in that regards. So yeah, man, we'll firmly have to see what happens for Hayland. I'm just gonna make a note of that, Hayland. Moving away from that though, folks, and we've got Saliba business now. As you guys already know, William Saliba played for Nice. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Played for Nice against Metz. He got man of the match. They drew 1-1. They've still only got one win, I believe, in their last 8 or 9. So, Saliba's men are firmly in trouble. It's going to be a tough season, but it's one for education. I think the goal they conceded, it sums up the problem with these young defenders, and Saliba and all his players. Literally in their last game I watched against Brest, they shown it, and they didn't react. Saliba's lost the marker, but him and nobody has reacted, and the Mets guys has tapped it in. I also feel generally watching that game for Nice, they didn't take their chance. They had a number of chances. Gouhouri scored a penalty. Amin Gouhouri, he's got 10 goals and it's his second in 3. He's someone I've spoken about already, and he's someone that I feel is one to watch. Again, can he get over that big injury he suffered? Only time will tell. That's the only thing that would scare me. But maybe he's a young striker to be assessing. And Jeffrey Adelaide also had a chance to score as well. Saliba, I think what I saw from, apart from his hand to play in the goal, I think he did all right. Apologies, people. These are speed notes, and as you can see, it was poor there from me. I think he displayed confident passing. I think he showed his leadership. I think they played a back three off the top of my head, so again, showed his adaptability. He looked more comfortable in his second appearance. He showed some cute little touches, cute little changing what's the thing called? When you switch it out to the channels, you brought out the ball well. A couple of times he was a bit rash, but I think he had a decent game, and all we need him to do is get more confidence. I don't really care about the man of the match business. I just care about the minutes he's played and the lessons he learns. I don't really care who wins man of the match. But like I said, leadership was there, confident, and he looks more comfortable. I can't ask more for him. Crucially, that's his 30th appearance in top flight football specific to France. So again, highlighting how inexperienced he is, but every appearance brings you closer to your goal, people. Nice, I think they've only got one win in their last 8 or 9, people. So again, it's a bit poor. And a couple general points from that game quickly as well. Like I said, Gouhouri's got 10 goals, and that was his second in his last 3. Could he be someone to watch? Like I said, that Lyon, I don't know why Lyon got rid of him, but he had a big injury. And when you look at Nice, it is interesting watching them. They've got Delberg, they've got Gouhouri, they've got Jeff, they've got Saliba. It's like a team of FM Wonder Kids and things like that. It is there. I think Mets also had chances as well, people. And like I said, fundamentally, it's a terrible season for Mets, but it can be one of learning and development for our young player people. These are all irrelevant, people. These neutral topics are for another live stream, people. And yeah, man, in short, I don't know why I've got transfers there because we've spoken about that. But yeah, he got 90 minutes played. He made 4 blocks. He made 4 clearances. He's got 1 block, 2 interceptions. It has to be more than that. One all his duels, 1 is duels in the air. Well, 75% of them, and that's actually an area Saliba needs to improve at, because for someone who's 6'4", I don't think he's that convincing in the air. Mainly his positioning, his heading, and just decision making. Sometimes I think he's very casual in possession. There needs to be a bit more urgency. No fouls committed, 70 touches, 53 passes with an 88% basically accuracy, 75%, which shows you he's very much the modern day centre half and likes the ball play, people. Sadly, they conceded 1 goal, so there's still no clean sheet. But, second game under his belt, second 90 minutes, it shakes off that ring rust that he's had because he ain't played for a while. It gets him some more confidence. Fundamentally, it gets him some more experience that he wouldn't have got here. So, yeah, we just want him to come back for pre-season. Not the finished article, because he's not going to come back, a young Tony Adams or things like that. But what we need is a more confident player, a more educated player, because he's still gonna, his positioning isn't, urgency, aerial, aerial threats. These things are not gonna. He's not gonna go to France and, come May or better yet August, they're all gone. He's locked it. All we need is a bit of building blocks that you're slightly more ahead than you are. Like Jens has said, people are expecting too much from our 19, 20-year-olds, and it's a gift and it's a privilege. But at the same time, I feel a lot of it is because people don't really understand young players. And a lot of it in football today, man will, even with Mari, who's an experienced player, man will call these guys the Messiah one week and then they have a bad game. I never, they'll be like, I always believed in him. How is he not getting a chance? This and that. He has 1 bad game. I never believed in him. How is he getting this and that? I think we're too excited. I see it with Reiss Nelson. Man, we're saying, why has he gone to Hoffenheim? Man were crying, man were screaming his name when they were watching 30-second clips of him scoring for Hoffenheim. And I used to look at it confused because I'm watching these games. Sometimes he's not scored and played amazing. Sometimes he scored and weren't involved really in the thick of it. I do think for going back, I think our young players, a lot of them, it's understated the mental capacity. I think that's one thing that I like about Saliba, and I wish Reiss Nelson, Eddie Nketiah and Joe Willock had. I don't see enough self-belief in them, really. I think Saliba's got that self-belief. So let's hope it works out for Saliba and he develops into the player we all believe he can be. In relation to Guendouzi and the rest of the other young players playing on loan, people, I will do my loan watch between tomorrow and Wednesday. You lot know you'll always get that. I've actually got the notes here, but we've got a lot to do and I've got a lot to actually handle in my personal life today, people. So that's that in relation to Saliba. I might as well see some of you guys' questions and see what you guys are saying. Big up everyone. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. We're only on 252 likes and there's 500 of you tuned in. What kind of nonsense is that, people? Come on, man. It doesn't cost a thing. Like the thing. So yeah, man, let's see what you guys are saying. If it will let me click back over. Here we are. I thought I was frozen there, about to say not again. Think it's a bit harsh. I don't think you can blame those 3. If anyone's taking the club backwards, it's been mismanagement of finances. It's been mismanagement for those above management and previous. I don't think it's fair. I think you can have criticisms of the players, but to say they're taking the club, them 3 individuals that are so blame for our club going backwards and stuff is a bit harsh. Is crazy, personally, people. Crazy. Please make sure you're liking, people. Not a clue. I don't know how serious it is, but we're hoping for the best. We hear that he's gonna take scans and whatnot, people. Them man, they most, and I get it. Nobody, everyone wants a youth player to come through their academy. Everyone gets gassed off it, but man need to calm it down. What you do at youth level, bro. Willock used to bad people up. The very things I'm asking Willock to show me, Willock was showing it to me. Willock I used to see Willock create goals and score goals and stuff like that. Nelson as well, Nelson, a bit like Callum Hudson-Odoi, maybe it became too easy for them at youth level. And then so when they've been, met with adversity, they've kind of struggled, where I look at someone, Saka's different because I think Saka was just born to play football. He's one of them man that go against the rule. The way Saka is playing in the first team is the same way I saw a schoolboy playing against the playing for Arsenal's under 16s, or a 16-year-old playing for the 23s, and all of these things, man. So yeah, man, it is what it is. DG, why ain't your become a member working? It should be working. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe that's a personal problem. Just refresh the page and hit that up again. Like Daniel said, if you're on YouTube, exercise your fingers, smash the like button. I do think people are sensationalizing Buendia and making out he's the Messiah in the same way they did with Aouar and Szoboszlai. Like, they're all good players. They'd all help Arsenal. But it's hard that people would have thought, you would have thought they were signing Messi. You know, I think Buendia is good. You know, I think long term he could actually be taught to play that Santi Cazorla role. In the short term, he can obviously play as a cam. You know, where Smith Rowe is playing, people forget he played a lot off that right-hand side. So, you know, I guess that's a position he can affect us, and he could put more pressure on Pepe to perform. You know, what happens with Saka is an interesting one, but there's competition. You know, what happens with someone like Nelson? Obviously, it should spell the end of Willian, but who knows? So we'll have to see in that regard. Timsy has said, does anyone think Guendouzi will play? I hope he does, man. I have small hope, but I think that one there is done, man. Really and truly, I think that one there is done. You know, Ollie has said, can you stop telling us to like every 2 secs? Like the video, like the video, like the video. I can do what our bomber Clark want on my live stream, big man. You don't like it, bust out. Like, liking means everything. I will keep saying it. Once again, like the video, like the video. Who don't like it, keep it moving. If you like it, stay. I appreciate you for giving up your time, Ollie, but I'll do what the backside I want. You know, if you lot were liking the vid, there wouldn't be a problem. You have to. It's not like it's coming like you lot don't read the thing. Calm yourselves down, man. I wouldn't say it's becoming injury-prone Chucks, but it is something to consider. Seriously, it is. You know, I know we spoke about earlier, the injuries really came off 3 unrelated things, but is it a coincidence or is it telling? And I hope not to be the case. It would be cruel. I want to see someone like him reach his full potential, but yeah, man, you get the point, man. It's a bit of a harsh one there, man. You know, mismanagement of finances has been a lot. It has been doing a lot. You know, it is something. And like I said, it's not just like I said earlier, it's not just the big money signings. It's the cut price additions like Socrates and Runnison and things like that. It's the free transfers as well. It's the loan transfers as well. Because when you all add this up, like you said, and you throw it all in, we haven't got too much bang for our buck. You know, right now I'm happy with Marie, but not too long ago, man was saying, oh, how comes we sign, me included, how comes we're signing Marie and, you know, Cedric? It's looking like we're getting into bed with agents and things. Now, I think Marie's left that bracket personally, but you get the point, you know, it's that, you know. Probably I wouldn't let's not say depressed. Let's be not getting at you, but you know, that's just people are going through depression. But he does look shot on confidence. But against Newcastle, I didn't see that personally. You know, big up yourself, horseplay. Big up yourself, my guy. You're gonna have to scroll back. Sorry, my guy. We've spoken about Pepe. I will be clipping up this live stream as I always do for you guys. Diogo, bruv, the notifications keep failing up the thing. I don't know what's going on. You know, YouTube don't like me. They don't like notifying you guys. So I've told you, look, you lot just have to do some muscle memory thing and make sure you're checking. You know, 11 from 11 to 1 or so. You know, you're gonna see lives and whatnot from me. Just for Ollie, make sure you're hitting the like button. Dog hearts. So yeah, man. Bro, retirement home business. It's a madness. It's an absolute madness. You know, I want Willian to prove me wrong. I want Willian to start badding it up, but can I really add anything on? Can I really add anything? Really and truly, you know, DG giving us quality content for free. We have to repay in some way. I appreciate that. Like David, you know. I like Allegri. I like Allegri personally, but again, someone like Allegri, they're gonna come here and it's not gonna end well. Not because they're bad managers. That, you know, he's gone from Juventus trying to win Champions League and the rest of it, and I'm coming to Arsenal. You're telling me, oh, I can't buy a midfielder or address obvious areas of my side. I just say allow it. That's why we didn't get Luis Enrique, Carlo Ancelotti, Allegri. I think all of them, man, there would have listened to Arsenal. When the phone was called, they picked up. But when they saw that, you know, when you're getting down to the nuts and bolts and they see the mammoth of the task they have at hand and you see the players available and the lack of funds, like, allow it. It's not worth it, you know. It's not. I'd love to have Arsenal on the TV, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. We'll have to see, man. Big up everyone, the real guys. Ah, bro, imagine. I get told I'm not telling people to like it enough. I'll get told it is too much. Either way, we gonna keep doing it. There's no rules. And like unless you're paying me to be employed, no one can tell me what I can and can't do. Listen, do you know what? I think with Guendouzi and Arteta, it was the long list. It was the long. How do I make it make sense? It was the long sort of incident in a long list of incidences, in my opinion. It's like he's just thinking, allow it. Like, I've got a lot of things to deal with as an Arsenal manager. Much less is this guy going to behave himself and act mature. Like someone said earlier, I hope time can be a healer. I hope with the fact that he's having a child, and hopefully he's maybe thought about the opportunity he had at Arsenal and how lucky he was. Them two could come, Arteta and Guendouzi, they can hit a patch and come together, and he can be an Arsenal player next season. But I think he's gone, really and truly. I think he's gone. Absolutely gone. So we'll have to see, man. Now, I thought I was deluded. Big up yourself, man. I big up all the Somali tugs as well. I appreciate that. We've got South Africa in the building as well. You're not alone, Lucas. You're not alone. Trust me. You're not alone. It could be something. Check your YouTube and your YouTube app on setting for your settings on notifications. There could be something in that. But I think too many people have said that for it to be that, my guy. But nonetheless, you heard the man. Dapo said, what do you think about Louise and Gabriel at the back? I think it could be the best duo. It's a partnership we've seen already. I mean, it's one of, for me, it's Gabriel and someone, whether that's Gabriel and Holding or Gabriel and Louise, I guess so. But Marie's kind of complicated thing. So I'd say that is something I'm more comfortable with. The only one I'm not really comfortable with is Gabriel and Marie, purely because, again, they haven't had enough time to play with each other, and we've got some big games coming up. Again, you have to hit the ground running, but and Holding and Gabriel had to Holding and Marie had to play with each other sometimes, so it could be something. Pardon me, it could be too defensive, but is it any different to what we're seeing? I don't think it's a motivation problem. I just think in fact, I can't lie. I do think it is to a degree. When I look at it, I can't lie with you, Gladiator. I can't lie, but I don't think it's genuinely that. I would feel, having confirmed your future in England, somewhere your family wanted to stay in London. You've got a nice business. You've accomplished everything. You've got a new job here of being an experienced member of the team. I would have thought that would have given him new motivation. But playing devil's advocate, can't disagree, man, at all. We need more dark arts. We got to see examples, man. I can't just bring out the dark arts for no reason. And I can't disagree with that. Someone might say that, and that's what I said, Emma. You can't get at them, man. You can't, because when it's two right footers, nobody talks nonsense. So it is what it is in that regards. I just realized we've got this up here with there's no need for it. Don Perry said, DG, I'm rating your ting right now. Don't even watch AFTV no more. Just you, Curtis, and Turkish now. Keep doing your ting, my brother. Thank you very much for that. Shout out Curtis as well, man. See him on Sky Sports. Light skin Cameron Jerome is getting places. Big up my guy Curtis, man. I'm so proud of him doing his thing. What else have we said? That's... I don't know. Maybe I would probably say I'd rather Marie do it, funny enough, just because he's a bit more mature and stuff, and it would probably play in his mind a bit more like that. I have to be sensible, man. That's also true. I do think Holding gets exposed in that regards. I'm not gonna lie. I do think he gets exposed in that regards, but is what it is. I mean, I don't think anybody rates David Luiz like that. We all know he's going to have good games. He's going to go through good moments. You're going to get the David Luiz against Andy Carroll, or you're going to get the David Luiz against in an FA Cup final who didn't train. Equally, you're going to get the David Luiz that might play an underhit back pass, or one that just does questionable stuff. We've all watched David Luiz throughout his career. We knew we weren't going to reinvent the wheel. We all know this should be his last season, but for this season at least, I do think between David Luiz, Gabriel, now Marie, and obviously Holding, them man are the ones we're looking in for. So Chambers, it's unfair on Chambers really, but Chambers, Mustafi, Socrates probably got to keep it moving between now and the end of the season. Yeah, and that's true as well. You know, you know. That's also close. That's also very true. I think they're all gonna get exposed with that, really and truly. You know, I feel it's harsh on Chambers, my guy, because it's almost like I always have to wonder how different would his Arsenal career be if he didn't get injured, because Arteta selected him initially and he did do well that season within his regards. And then he got the injury and now he's out of sight, out of mind. I do think Arteta likes the fact that he's a squad player, but I can't see you playing significant football. So he's probably someone to move on. Obviously, he's homegrown, so that could obviously tip the balance, but it is what it is in that regards, man. And that's why I want either Marie to be it or to bring in as someone who's 25 or so, because I would back them both to play together, Saliba and Gabriel, but it's a 22. Well, at that next season, it'll be a 23-year-old and a 20-year-old or something like that. And they will have good games, but there'll also be games they show their lack of experience. But, Gabriel is inexperienced as well. It's just how Arteta and the boys mold him and things like that. You're right, Chambers was player of the season at Fulham, but he got that playing in midfield. He's played in midfield, he's played at fullback, he's played at centre half. He's been a jack of all trades, and at Arsenal, while he's had patches of good form in all of these roles, apart from midfield, he's not been a master of any. And you look at right back, you've got Cedric, Maitland, and Bellerin. Centre half, we've got numerous. Midfield, it could be an option because we're down to our bare bones, but it's not going to happen. It's a bit like screaming Maitland now is in midfield now, so it's probably best he's just moved on, people. Probably is. So it is what it is. Tim, I see you, my guy. We need to get to a minimum of 3 watches. I think we're quite there. I'm not sure. I must admit, I'm not really on the Maitland now as a midfield thing anymore. I'm really on just. I'll give him a try there, and if he does what he needs to do, then why not? But I'm more thinking it's a fullback thing now. It's a fullback or nothing, man. He might be, Chambers might be, but we can only deal with the fact. And it looks like holding San New Deal and cement in his place, and it looks like a myth for Chambers. You never know if injuries happen, Chambers gets a look in the team and he does his thing. Why not? Why not? It is what it is in that regards. But who knows what's going to happen in that regards? Who genuinely knows, people? I just think for Chambers, it's probably best for him to leave, go somewhere you're going to play consistently, try and kickstart your career again after the injuries and things like that. It is what it is, firmly in that regards, people. I don't think he's that. I don't think listen, for me, if Holding, I don't rate Holding that much, but I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a competent squad option. I do think he plays well, but he does have these moments where he does some questionable things, like the other day when he gave away that corner unnecessarily. I think we should have loaned out Holding a couple seasons ago, because I do think even him, he's in. All our defenders, apart from the obvious, are not really that experienced, really and truly. Personally, I appreciate you live from Planet X as well. Doesn't go underestimated. And I can't disagree with that. Maitland-Niles, previously Smith Rowe. You couldn't understand how Bearman weren't getting chances. I think the club put a hat on Joe Willock, and it just needs to show. We just need to show what we could see, what we can do, really, in that regards, people. Really. Last question before I keep it moving, people. It's been 90 minutes. One more question. Get your last question, and who's going to be the one for that? Who's going to be the one, people? Who is going to be the guy, man? I don't think he has to learn from Bellerin at all. I think he has to learn from himself. Don't think that's the case. Big up yourself, Hamid. What else have we seen here? I don't know why he signed a 4-year deal, but at this point, I can't change anything. So it's mad. I did not miss that, my guy. I did not miss that. That was the first thing we spoke about. So go back to the beginning of the live stream. Like someone trying to tell me I missed out a super chat. Crazy. Thoughts on Palace? I like Palace, man. I ain't got no beef with Palace. I actually been to Selhurst Park. They could revamp the stadium, but it's one of the best atmospheres I've been. They do concede some cheap goals. They do some questionable things, but they do have a dangerous attack. Benteke isn't the most prolific against us. He seems to have a part to play. Ize's getting plaudits. We all know what Zaha is, so they're a good outfit, man. Slop's injured, but Slop can chuck it to you. Roy Hodgson's team, I'm sure, having had a mixed results over the last few weeks, want to go and kind of put a kind of rain on Arsenal's parade. You know, we've got 4 wins now, 3 wins in the league, getting a bit of form. You know, it's a bit of a feel good thing. So who knows? You know, shout out to Jenkinson, bro. He proven anything can happen. You know, he's an Arsenal fan. He lived the dream. You know, stayed here many years longer than he should have. He did his thing, man. Big up yourself, Jay. Who would be my centre half? So I'd actually like a new centre half if possible, but just based on who's available and who's contracted to Arsenal, I would say, um, I would say, holding fifth, no order, in fact. Saliba, Gabriel, Holding, Marie. Saliba, Gabriel, Holding, Marie. That fifth choice is up for debate. You know, long term, David Luiz isn't going to be here. Do we grab another centre half? I don't know what happens in that. Does one step up from the academy? I'm not too sure. You know, Mavropanos, he's having an injury hit loan spell. It's a bit shaky. I don't know if he's going to have it here, but who knows? I appreciate that, Joshua. You know, Lemon, I am still learning it, but I don't have enough. You know, I don't have enough live viewers on Twitch for that. I know what I read. With all due respect, and Palace are good on the counter attack. Well, allegedly, that's what I'm seeing. You know, we have to see. We'll have to see, man. We'll really have to see. How do you become a mod? By being here consistently, my guy. With all due respect, I ain't seen your username too often to be making you a mod. My mods are people that I can see here consistently, you know, really and truly. So yeah, man. Anyways, I don't think there's anything more to answer. You know, let me see if there's one more question. End this on a question. You know, he's still 18. He's just joined the club. Let's see what he's on first. I would love Ramos, but myth. Myth. Absolute myth. But yeah, man, it's been enjoyable, people. Please hit the like button on your way out. I'll be back again. Like I said, for any of you that have missed durations of this live stream throughout the day, I'll be clipping them up and putting them online for you. But for now, I'm going to get out of here, people. People, deluded. It's always a pleasure speaking to you lot, but I've got to get out of here, people. I've got a very busy day. I'm out.